Hello everyone, welcome to BIMmodeler.com. In this video tutorial, we will be discussing the most regular warnings in Revit. Revit warning, which is none of the element created or visible in the current view, which is maybe anything, ceiling floor or floor plan, anything. The reasons are listed below. There are a couple of reasons. I have highlighted which is the most important reasons. You will be able to solve this one by one in an exercise file. So before that, as we are saying in BIMmodeler.com, so we have provide our services for modeling and doing coordination for the BIM project in Revit. So we also have downloads as a demo for people who can access the families listed in here, and we have a couple of other families, around 300 families to upload latest, and you can download and give your commands to upload or any other things that you wanted to listed in this list. So from that, let's start. As we have listed there, so I have given all the description here. What are the reasons for reason 1, visibility graphics? So it may be any template. We will have if you're an architect, or if you're an architecture user, a structural user, or if you're an MEP user, you can use this video. And if you are trying to place a column in your view, for example column, and if you are trying to place and this error suddenly pops up that the element it is not visible. At the moment we are in the MEP template, which is we are in view 1 Mech. I'm trying to place a column, and if I go there again, architecture, and which I took structural column, if I try to place a architectural column, now you will be able to see the element and you will be able to place them, which is very simple. And visibility graphics of the view elements you have to check. On the left side, visibility graphics override, edit. So if you check column property in this list, the column is ticked. This option it is for architectural column. If you go ahead further down, structural elements, which is structural columns, which is not ticked, you have to enable this option under the model category so that you will be able to view the structural elements. Now, when I try to place this structural column, one more reason is that we are still not able to see it. The reason is that depth of the column. So we are placing the column in depth, so we will not be able to see that view range. So there are a couple of other options. So we are discussing about this topic, and also we are discussing about this topic at the same time. So if I change the value into height, now you will be able to see that the column which is visible. What happens to the previous column we placed here? You have to go to 3D and you will be able to see the columns nearby, but it goes downwards as depth. You will be able to change this value in the property base constraint. It can be 0, and you have to change the level height, which is level 2. Now you will be able to see the column that we have placed earlier. We are discussing at the same time two things. So you have to check in visibility graphics of the element that you are trying to place, and you have to check their property value of depth or width, offset. If you are trying to place a light fixture, another example, if you are trying to place a light fixture in a mechanical view, light fixture under the system category, light fixture, and if I'm selecting any of the options, so you will not be able to see the element. And if you are trying to click this, again the same error pops up. The reason is very simple. If we are placing the light fixture at the height of 450, but our visibility graphics VG, you can click light fixture L. You have to turn on to view it. Since it's a mechanical view, we don't have to see the light fixture, so we have turned it off. In a other view, in lighting view, you will be able to see those light fixture by default. Similarly, in a lighting plan, you don't have to see the air terminal. If you are trying to place the air terminal, the same error will pops up. The reason is very simple. These elements are controlled in visibility graphics, but you will be able to see in the mechanical floor plan. Coming back to the second reason, height value. When you are placing an element, you have to check the property of offset. So for example, air terminal, by default it's in the height of 0 in the level 1, so it will be placed on the floor. So sometime we may be forgetting to place at proper elevations. We may be placing in 5 meters, something like this. So we may not be able to see the elements. By mistake, the value gone up and we will not be able to see the elements. If it is intentional 5 meters, you have to adjust the view range, or you have to check the element in 3D or section view by going into the place, select the element, and you can change the value as required. Now you will be able to see it. You have to check offset value of the element or height value of the element or the element view depth. So similarly, you will be able to select wall element. You have to check, make sure that the level proper, we are in the proper level value, level 1 or level 2, and the base offset and top offset values. As like columns, you have depth value and height value. If the value is depth, you cannot see the wall that you are drawing. Make sure that to avoid this error, you have to make sure that you are drawing it properly downwards or upwards for the columns and walls. For the duct, the same thing happens. We may have to check the offset value, middle elevation, which is in the option bar here, or middle elevation in the property here. So you have to check their own properties, element properties. So for example, if I try to place a duct, it shows, but when I change this value to minus 200, if it is by mistake, so it won't be up here. So we have to change their value back to whatever the required value it is. So make sure in this reason, you have to make sure that the element properties are properly assigned for the offset or the height or elevation to the element. As like visibility graphics in the view, you have to check the active view filter. So for example, if you want to place a pipe work, so for example this pipe work, system, pipe system, and you will be able to place them and you will be able to see them. The reason is that, and by default the system type is hydronic supply. In a mechanical view, the pipe system, by default mechanical system will be visible. But when you are trying to place a pipe system which is not related to the mechanical, something, say for example, create similar, the same pipe, change the property from the hydronic supply to a fire or some other systems that you don't want to see it, maybe a sanitary. So if you're trying to place them, the same error pops up. The reason is that in a visibility graphics settings, in filter, you have this control added in this place. Each topic is a separate one. Visibility graphics, filters, view range, each one of them is a individual topic which is important topics to learn, but we will be covering the basic needs here. If I turn on the sanitary, you will be able to see the sanitary pipes. Once this error pops up, you have to go back to the filter. You have to check whether the filter is turned on for this element or not. Sometime in a project wall or column, we can control these properties. We can hide some elements based on their properties. The properties may be anything. So for example, we will be able to filter out only the firewall, and we will be able to assign some properties, visibility settings to them. So make sure you don't have any view filter to turn off them by mistake. The next thing is that view range. As we discussed, if I'm trying to place a pipe work, which is external services, we have turned on the sanitary pipe work, which is going to be external. So if I draw a pipe which comes from the external to the building like this, but it is not going to be in 2700, it is going to be value of minus 600 depth. When I change that value, or if I try to create a new pipe, the element won't be visible. The elevation value to that another pipe minus 600, if I try to create, the same error pops up. If we go to the 3D, we'll be able to see those pipes which is running, but we won't be able to see in one mechanical. The reason is that view range. The view range properties belongs to a view. You don't have to select any elements. Go to the left side of the property, open the view range. So we are assigning the value of minus 600 to the pipes. So make sure the view depth is minus 600 at least to view the element. We will be discussing this view range and view range related questions separately later in this tutorial, later after this separate video. Going to the next one, plan region. Why we have to use plan region? If you see that in this building, we have used the plan region option. So if I want to show you in 3D, I can select these element and go to the section box option, and you will be able to see that these elements, I have placed air terminals in different heights. So this is double height roof. So we have a double height in this place. One element which is in the level 1, the other element it is in the level 2, which is height about 3000 plus 4000, about 7000 from the ground level. For that reason, we have created a plan region from view, plan region. And you will be able to create a rectangular box like this, and you will be able to assign a view range, separate view range for this element. So the view range properties are something like this. We have changed only in this place, and we are able to control the view range into the specific place. If I try to delete this element, those elements won't be appear. I'm making Control Z to see the element back. Now, so when I try to place an element, so for example, air terminal, again, the air terminal height, which is 5000 from the level 1. And you can see that from this side, you won't be able to see the air terminal, but you will be able to see in this place. The reason is that we are able to see view range to the up to level 2 in this place, but not in this place. We will be able to see only the level 1 places. So when you are trying to place an air terminal at a different height than the view range, it will pop up the same error. Make sure you are not in the view range. So for example, in the same view range, if I try to create a 3 meter air terminal, it won't appear. The reason is this view range only shows that from the level 2, not from level 1. So if I try to change this view depth to a level 1, our air terminal appears. So make sure your view don't have an view range and will be a less problem for you. It occurs very less time, so make sure that you don't have that view range. Crop view. So for example, in this view, we have a crop view turned on. If I try to place an element, any elements, wall or any elements, maybe an air terminal, somewhere in this place, you can't see the element, but if I move it inside, you will be able to see it. If I click that outside, it says that none of the element, not able to see it, view it. The reasons are very simple. We have turned on the visibility in the property of the view, crop view. If I am turning on the crop view region visible at what is the border of the crop view, you will be able to see that this is the border. If you are placing any elements after this, you will not be able to see it. If I turn off this, you will be able to see the elements which is from the other side of the view range or the view crop. You can move that element to inside of the crop region. So crop view, turning off. The region is enabled now. The same thing happens to the annotation element. If I try to place a text element, annotate a text or tag, anything, dimensions or anything, it could be line also. If I try to place the text element in this side, on the other side of the crop regions, text, you won't be able to place them. The reason is that we have annotation crop in that place. So this will be appearing. When I click exit, it will be disappearing. But if I try to place this side text, it appears. I wonder we are placing it, why? The reason. The annotation crops appears something dotted line after you select, and if you are reducing this text also gone, and if you are increasing, you will be able to see it. On the bottom side, if I try to increase it, the other text appears. I have another text in the bottom. I will be able to view it if I extend further. So make sure that you don't have, for the annotation element, make sure that the annotation crops are properly done. This happens, the worst case scenario, the facing option happens, the reason for the error. When you are placing an element, we have the facing property for each element and each view. You can scroll the view property. You are not selecting any elements. You are scrolling to the down of the view property, face filter, face. In this face filter, it says that only show the new construction element, new construction. Whenever we place the element, it will be a new construction element. So ductwork, it is a new element, it says. But I do have the other elements, which is old elements, existing elements, which is not appearing. So when I try to place them or try to show them all, it appears. The reason for these elements are hiding because their properties are face created existing. What happens is that whenever your property changes and your elements won't be appearing in the view. So you may be creating this problem occurs when you are creating an element in 3D as existing construction, and if you are trying to view that as a new construction, it won't appear. So make sure your facing filter is turned on, view those elements. This design option also one of the reason, but very rare, maybe it occurs 5% of your time or 1% of the time. So it is there in the design option settings. The facing settings are available here, design option settings are available here. So it occurs very less time. So I'm not covering this. Make sure there is an option that reason for elements not visible. Design option also one of the reasons. Make sure you don't have any design option in your project. So these are the projects reasons that these warnings appear. And if I'm not listed any options here, please comment it. I will be able to add this to the list for the others. And when you're occurring this error, you have to go through one by one. Check own element property offset values or height values. Check visibility graphics of or filter values. Check the view range for the view property, or you have to check do you have any plan region in the place. You have to check that whether the crop region is on or off. You have to check the phasing value, whether the phasing filter is turned on, what filter it is showing, show all or none or existing only. So you have to make sure that phasing filter and phasing properties are proper. So I hope this tutorial helps you to solve the error. I will look forward to the next tutorial. Do subscribe to BIM Modeler channel and refer to your learning friends. Thank you.